A total of 51 Guyanese arrived at the Chedi Jagan International Airport on Sunday at about 16 hours on an Inter-Caribbean Airways repatriation flight. The nationals were stuck in Antigua, Tortola and Grenada for months due to the COVID-19 restricted measures. Von Trapp had initially intended to spend 3 weeks in Antigua but stayed for 5 months due to COVID-19.
I'm happy that I'm back here in Guyana. Home is where the heart is. The only struggle I had is like trying to get chartered flights, and it keep going off from one thing to another. A lot of people couldn't even come up with the money to charter the flight. Given the fact that some of them might have go for vacation and overstay the time, they gotta stay at other people's places like strangers and stuff. But for me, it was all right.
LONA KELLMAN lived in Antigua for quite some time and explained that she traveled back to spend time with her granddaughter.
So I leave my 2 sons here and I'm so happy to be back. Something I never experienced, but you have to make out. Hardship, no work, that's how it is.
ALEC PERSAUD, who was in Antigua, was caught off guard due to the lockdown and said he was well accommodated but never stopped wanting to come home.
I left here on the 13th, and within the 3 days, there was a lockdown. Yeah. Within 3 days of my arrival in Antigua, on the 13th of March, there was a lockdown. Fortunately, I was accommodated by my brother and his wife. I didn't really suffer anything, just the notion of being back home to get back to work. But I was comfortable, well taken care of by my brother.
George Niles, who was working as a carpenter in Tortola, said he left his job and came home to be with his family during this time.
The pandemic really caused a lot of chaos, and I can say to you that indeed it's time for us to come home, stay with our families, live a life that will be so wonderful.
The government has been working to ensure that Guyanese return home. However, some persons have been providing wrong information to health officials on arrival, and this is proving to be challenging. Thousands of Guyanese have already returned from the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. Additional repatriation flights have also been approved for September and October. CJIA and the Eugene F. Corai International Airports were closed in March to prevent the spread of COVID-19. There is no indication of when the airports will reopen to commercial flights. CJIA will commence the second phase of reopening on September 1st, which will allow for the return of permanent residents, international workers, and diplomats. All persons entering Guyana during this period are expected to fill out a repatriation form, which is being used for tracking by the health authorities, and also present a negative PCR COVID-19 test result. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isnel Patwo.